I was just thinking about something on my drive home today, and I wanted to share it. Now, have you ever had a memory from your childhood, and when you bring it up with other people in your family that were there, they have a completely different memory of what actually happened? I think what's happening in some sense is the way we think about the world today, we interject that into our memories. And it's hard to figure out what exactly happened. And I was thinking about this in relation to something that happened with one of my discussions with my family, to where somebody was talking about the story of David, and Malcolm Gladwell has written about it, and looking at the accuracy of what actually may have or haven't happened. And one of my family members was insistent on understanding and asked several times, yeah, but did it really happen? Did it really happen? Did it really happen? And I think that's a modern form of the same thing that I discussed up front, to where what we're doing is taking the modern idea of what's important in history and interjecting that into our myths, our fairy tales, our religious stories. Because today, when we learn what's important about history, and I can't blame people, because all you do in school is learn what happened, when it happened, and who were the major players. It's really just a bunch of bullet points about the facts. Now, what we're doing in looking at the old stories is interjecting that expectation to people who didn't think like that at all. It's very similar to what we're doing with our memories. How we think of things as an adult, we're using that framework and interjecting that into what we expect to know from how we remember things in childhood. So that parallel between adulthood and childhood is very similar to the parallel that we have now with modernity and ancient ways of thinking and talking. Because we have to remember that a lot of these people, they would witness these stories, and then they use their voice and talk about them, and these stories were passed down for generations. Now, when I tell somebody a story and then somebody tells someone else that story throughout generations, what they tend to do is get it more and more concise and maybe miss some of the dates, miss some of the details. But what they don't miss is the essence of what's important. So in some sense, it's a better way of chiseling away at all the fat and getting down to the meat of the thing. So whenever you're looking at myth and story, old religious, even if it's just a fairy tale, I think it's important to remember not to utilize the framework that we use today when we're trying to understand what people hundreds and thousands of years ago were trying to tell us.